Hello everyone, welcome back to Dominaria Full Set Review. I'm Brett and this is Anthony.
How you going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Ready to get fiery?
Yep, let's do it.
Alright, let's get straight into it with a Bloodstone Goblin. This is a 2-mana 2-2, so red bear, and whenever you cast a spell, if it was kicked, it gets +1/+1 and menace until end of turn.
Um, it's fine. I can't imagine you casting that many kicked spells in the mid game, so this is just going to be a bear, which is decent for red.
Yeah, this is fine. I mean, we can see the continuation of the red-green kicker type thing. The red-green uncommon is all about kicking, so it helps it get through in the late game, I guess. That menace is going to help force some more awkward blocks for your opponents, which I like.
Yep.
Decent bear. Nice start.
All right, Champion of the Flame, 2 mana, 1 and a red for a 1/1 human warrior with trample. So where's the buff? Champion of the Flame gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. Okay, so this is where we put all our equipment.
Yeah, this guy gets big.
It's a bit of a tough sell though, right? Like you have to have a certain number of equipment to make this playable.
It's certainly in a niche, and you're going to need to have other reasons to play your auras and equipment other than this, I think.
Yeah.
So this is either your red-white equipment deck, because we saw the red-white Angel Artificer, or maybe
Yes.
blue-red historic, sort of needing those artifacts, where you're going to be playing artifacts anyway.
Okay, yeah. Where you're going to put the extra equipment in. Yep,
Yeah.
I see what you mean. Yep.
So, I mean, ultimately, this is not an early pick. This is I'm building a deck that's going to have equipment and auras in it already, and then this guy goes into that,
Yep, sure.
rather than the other way around. So we have a Fervent Strike. This is a neat little combat trick. This is 1 mana instant, so red for target creature gets +1, first strike, and haste.
And haste, that's a bit weird, because you'd have to play that at sorcery speed. But it gives it just a bit more flexibility, so I kind of like it as a trick. It's going to get its man.
I mean, if you ignore the haste part, it's good. It's a fine little, like a sure strike type thing. The first strike is important, and then haste is just added gravy. It's like, oh, I need to get this creature to attack right now, so Fervent Strike, attack.
Yeah.
This is a good one. Obviously, again, not a super early pick, but definitely worth looking out for when your opponent has 1 red up.
Yeah, for sure. Keep this one in mind. All right, Fiery Intervention. 4 and a red for a sorcery. Choose 1. Fiery Intervention deals 5 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. So this is your common sorcery speed removal. It is begrudgingly playable. It's going to be okay with the added bonus of killing an artifact if you need that.
Yeah, it's bad removal, as bad as removal kind of gets. I mean, it's still good enough. It'll do the job. This is only slightly worse than that Blood Tallow Candle that sacrifices to give -5/-5.
Yeah. Well, it can destroy an artifact, so that can come in handy. We saw a lot of cool artifacts.
Certainly. And I do love the whole depiction of this scene. It's Chandra being like, do I burn the tree or do I smash the golem? I don't know what to do. She probably just wants to do both, to be honest.
Yeah. What does it say in the flavor text? Burning something is easy. Choosing a target can be more difficult. That's cool. I like it.
Fun. It's a good little one. So this is a much better removal spell. This is Fight with Fire. 3 mana, deal 5 damage to a creature. So it's the first half of that card for 2 less.
Okay.
And it has a kicker. So 7 mana, 6 mana additional, doing up to a total of 9. You deal 10 damage, divided as you choose, divided amongst any targets.
That's kind of absurd.
Yeah, that's
when you
big.
kick it.
I mean, that can be 9 just 10 to the face of an opponent.
Yeah.
Because that's any target, so you can now target planeswalkers or players. Which is actually, I should also mention, planeswalkers are a new target now. You no longer have redirection damage. Previously, to deal damage to a planeswalker like this, you would target the player and redirect. That no longer happens. You actually target the planeswalker directly from Dominaria onwards.
Cool.
But yeah, much better removal spell. Like, pick this very highly as a red card.
Yeah, and splash it. The card's pretty great.
Yeah. Kicking it's going to be harder on the splash because you need double red, but the first one is perfectly fine as a splash.
Yeah. Fair enough, yeah. Fire Elemental. 3 red for a 5/4 Elemental, and that's about it. These are fringe playable filler, but a cool callback to, I think, Alpha.
This is sort of like hopefully you don't need to play it, but sometimes you just need more creatures, so you take them.
Yeah.
This nice Jaya Ballad flavor text, though. The best way to learn from a book on pyromancy is to burn it.
Burn the books. Yeah,
Like
that's a great one. Yeah.
So next we have a Fire Fist Adept. This is a 5-mana 3/3, which is not a great start, but when it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature and opponent controls, where X is the number of wizards you control. So we're seeing the blue-red wizard deck. This, you hope, will deal 2 or 3 damage to a creature when it enters. Minimum, it's going to deal 1 for itself. But
Yeah. I think this is fine. It's okay. I should. It's bad outside of a wizard deck, but it's probably really good in a wizard deck.
And it shouldn't be that hard to find wizards, realistically. I mean, this is definitely a sub-theme of this set. You'd probably want to be in blue-red to be playing this, but if you are in blue-red, you probably have enough wizards to make this worthwhile.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of cards that are good in in some themes, but bad in others, and I think that's going to make for a really interesting draft environment.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Having cards like this that are going to go around the table until they find the player that wants them is really important for a good draft environment.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I like this card, yeah. All right. The first Eruption. This is one of our red saga cards. 2 and a red, for Enchantment Saga. And the first chapter is it deals 1 damage to each creature without flying when it enters. That's cool. The second chapter is add 2 red mana. And the third is sacrifice a mountain. If you do, the first Eruption deals 3 damage to each creature. So this is sort of a Wrath, kind of mini Wrath on layaway.
Yeah. I don't think there's any of those things that I really want to do. I don't really care about 1 damage to each creature without flying unless my opponent is playing a bunch of X1s, which we haven't seen that many X1s that are important. 2 red is like, okay, sure, whatever. I get 6 mana maybe on turn 4, which is nice, but 1 off, not that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then deal 3 damage to each creature in red is probably killing most of my creatures.
Yes.
And that's not a may. The first part is you must sacrifice a mountain if you have one, which you probably do.
Yeah, you probably do. Add 2 red. I'm trying to think if it can work with Kicker, but it's only for that 1 turn. I don't know. I'm not really liking this that much.
I feel like this may have some kind of constructed application somewhere. I don't know where that might be, but I think that's what it's here for. I don't think this is a limited card at all. The best part about it is its art, which is this magnificent sort of woven-looking design. It's really quite beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Showing the birth of the dragons. So yeah, really cool card. Don't play it in limited. Find a constructed application for it maybe, but just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Alright, next we have the Flame of Keld, another saga. I'll also note that the word "the" in these is not registered for WotC's sorting. They've just gone, because they sort alphabetically. Whatever,
Okay.
they're in the middle. I just noticed it's something they do. Anyway, 2 mana, discard your hand. Not the best, but okay. Then draw 2 cards on the second run around, and then if a red source you control will deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals that +2 for the rest of the turn.
No. Not playing this card.
Yeah, it's... I don't know, I mean... In a very aggressive red deck where you're getting rid of your hand by turn 3 or turn 4, I can see this being worthwhile, but you need to be a super aggressive deck.
Super aggressive deck. Yeah, I guess the turn after, like if this is the last card you play, the next turn you have 3 cards in your hand, and then you deploy, and then the last turn you go for it. I guess there's a thing there, but this seems really situational.
It is pretty situational. You need to be in the right deck. I think this is going to
Yeah.
come around super late. So if you want it, you know that you want it because you're super aggressive, because you've got a really low curve. You're playing 16 lands, then this card goes in. Basically ignore it everywhere else though.
Yeah. You're right. It might have its place, but that's usually not a deck that I'm fond of. But yeah.
All right, well we'll keep rolling.
Yep. Frenzied Rage, 1 and a red for an enchantment aura, enchant a creature, and the creature gets +2/+1 and has menace. We've seen these be kind of okay in the past in really aggressive formats. I don't know if it's shaping up to be that aggressive. It might be, but if it's not, this is going to be really bad.
Yeah, the common level removal and uncommon level removal isn't as good as it used to be. This is probably going to get by. I mean, you put it on that 2-mana 1/1, and he now gets +4/+3. There's a 5/4 with menace on turn 3. I'm a little bit magical Christmas landy, but there are places where this could go.
Sure. I mean, I can see it being okay.
Madcap Skills is a card. You know,
that was 3 power.
It was 3 power, but you know, it's pretty good. So keep an eye on this one. I think you don't need to take them super early, but they certainly could end up in some of your aggressive decks.
Yeah.
Next we have is a Gitu Chronicler. This is a 2-mana 1/3 with Kicker for 4 extra. So when it enters the battlefield, if kicked, you get an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand.
Okay, so yeah, the red-blue Wizards deck.
Yeah, just some Wizards.
Wants this, and this could be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I mean, early in the game in the Wizards, you probably do want just cheap Wizards that can play defensive roles. They're going to block bears, which is nice. But yeah, in the blue-red Wizards deck, pretty much exclusively.
Yep. I like the art here. Gitu Journey Mage, 2 and a red for a 3/2 human wizard. When Gitu Journey Mage enters the battlefield, if you control another wizard, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So yeah, you know where you want it, but it's fine if you're not in that deck. A 3/2 for 3 is okay.
Yeah, 3-mana 3/2 is perfect for filler. It'll do you just fine, but Wizards obviously gives it a bonus.
Yep, cool.
We have another wizard, Gitu Lava Runner. This is a 1-mana 1/2 human wizard. And as long as there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, he gets +1/+0 and has haste. Don't see that coming in relevance a lot, but it is a 1-drop wizard.
Yeah, it's a 1-drop wizard. And you'll probably want it in the wizard deck because they're going to have a lot of instants and sorceries as well. So yeah, this could be fine. 2/2 with haste late in the game is fine.
Yeah, and standard wizard, if there is a standard wizard deck, this is definitely going to get there because you just want wizards in play to make all the rest of your synergies better. So this is really a synergy card. It needs to have those wizards going.
Yeah.
Goblin Barrage. This is a 4-mana with Kicker. You can sacrifice an artifact or a goblin. Deals 4 damage normally, and if it was kicked, also deals 4 damage to a player. So 4 damage to a creature for 4, and kicked, you also hit the player.
It's an interesting card.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Searing Blaze type effect.
Yeah.
But harder to trigger. A little bit harder to trigger.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like it. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not the best removal spell in the world, but 4 mana, 4 damage is fine.
I think it would have been nice if they'd revived Tribal Sorcery and made this a Goblin spell.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Just because there's Goblin Warchief in this set, so it would be reduced by 1 to a 3-mana spell, which could be fun. But yeah, I think this is fine removal. 4 damage is going to kill some stuff.
Still expensive, but being able to go to the face on an option is pretty good.
Yeah. Could help you get through those last few points of damage that you might need.
For sure. Oh, Goblin. Yeah, Goblin Chain Whirler. Red for a 3/3 Goblin Warrior with First Strike. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. And that second ability doesn't seem that great. I don't think we've seen that many X1s so far. Or maybe just the Saprolings. It's probably good against that. But 3/3 first striker for 3 is good. Being triple red is tough though. Yeah, so it's a fine card.
Yeah, this is sort of really pushing towards the standard goblin route, because you are going to get a few more goblins as we go through. Still decent in limited aggressive decks. That first strike is super important. And the 1 damage is going to help him get through. If he can have haste, which there are occasions where he will, he can come through and everything is 1 weaker. So that's good for him. And I think very important flavor text. The trick is, once you get moving, don't stop. Because that guy looks like he would have an interesting time if he ever did stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, really cool card. Don't need to necessarily take it first unless you're already in red heavily.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be taking any of these triple coloured ones first.
Speaking of Goblin Warchief, this is 1 red for a Goblin Warrior. Your Goblin spells cost 1 less to cast, and Goblins you control have haste. This is a 2/2. So he himself also has haste, because it's just all Goblins you control.
Yep.
And this is big for a couple of reasons. One, it suggests that Goblins might be a thing in Standard, which could be fun. It also is the first printing that's modern legal. And there is a modern Goblins deck. So 8-Whack, Jim, if you're listening, you now have Goblin Warchief to put into the Goblins deck.
Would it be good in that, do you think?
I'm not sure. I don't know the deck well enough to say whether or not they have enough 4 or 5s to make this worthwhile, because that cost reduction is kind of important. If you play Siege Gang Commander, that comes down the turn after, because it goes from a 5 to a 4 and puts 5 power in play with haste.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
So there's certainly some reason for this to be considered, if not necessarily played. And standard, in limited, it's like not really important.
Yeah, it's not that great.
Yeah, it's just a grey area.
Yeah. Haphazard Bombardment. 5 and a red for our big red enchantment of the set. When Haphazard Bombardment enters the battlefield, choose 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put an aim counter on each of them. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have an aim counter on them, destroy one of those permanents at random. What the hell?
This is such a goblin spell. It's hilarious. That Goblin Barrage. This is that Goblin Barrage on the other end. It's a big silly red enchantment. We get them almost every set now. It's just become a staple.
So you pick 4 of their things, you put a counter on them.
Yep.
At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have aim counters on them. So it's until... So you keep going down until you've got 1. So you might not even get the one you want. Destroy one of them at random per turn. Okay, excellent.
Yeah,
I'm never playing this card.
The turn you play it, you kill one of 4 things that they control. That can include lands. I should point out, this is land destruction at 6. Just any non-enchantment object. You kill one of them. The next turn you kill another one. The next turn you kill another one. That's not the worst.
It's pretty close.
It's removal. Eventually.
Maybe.
And then you play a second one and put more aim counters out so that you get to keep going.
So what if you ramp this, right? And they've got 4 lands. You just target their lands, and then you get 3 of them over the next 3 turns. If you get this on turn 4, if you ramp out this.
Seems fun to me. Yeah, I have a small affinity towards these crazy chaos cards. I don't think it's worth playing in limited, unless you have a big green ramp deck and you have no removal, and you want to play this. I can see that as sort of a splash. You need something to kill something. You have a 1 in 4 shot of getting it the first time.
You have a 1 in 4 shot of never getting it. Right?
I'm not going to do the math on that right now. At the start of the next video, I will have done the math and I will tell you what the odds are of getting the thing that you want to get.
Okay.
There's multiple levels of probability there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it through.
But it's fun. I think it's a cool card. I don't think it's worth putting in most limited decks. I do also think it'd be fun in Commander, because you just pick one of different people's stuff. It's like, who knows what's going to die?
Yeah. What about 2HG? No, you just need things to happen in 2HG. You can't wait 4 turns.
Alright, well, let's keep moving. We have a Jaya Ballad.
This is an interesting one. 2 red for a 5 loyalty planeswalker of the Jaya variety. And +1, add red. Spend this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. +1, discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards. -8, you get an emblem with you may cast instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. So they give them more flashback, essentially.
Yeah, so you kind of get a Past in Flames emblem for the rest of the time, or a Yawgmoth's Will, but only for instants and sorceries, so it's Past in Flames is closer.
Yeah.
This is okay. I think the filtering is really useful, because they're both +1s. If that was a minus, if any of that was a minus, that would be bad. But
this isn't good in limited though, right? This is a constructed card, right?
I think if I can play it, I don't think it's not a bomb. It's not I'm going to slam this. But if I can support triple red, the filtering is really powerful, because going up to 6, I'm pitching all of my lands, because if I ever need extra mana, I'm just ticking up for more mana, and I'm just drawing gas.
It only does it for instants and sorceries though.
Yeah.
The mana. Yeah. But yeah, I see what you mean. The filtering is nice. I don't know. It seems a bit rough though.
I don't think.
Okay. I'm gonna go with this as bad, but we will see. And I'm happy to be wrong, and I hope I am.
But I guess one thing to look at it is, are you going to ignore this? Your opponent plays Jaya Ballad. Are you going to swing at it, or are you going to leave it and be like, it doesn't matter? I know it's board dependent.
I don't know. Probably. It probably is board dependent. Like a lot of the time, it's not going to be that important. Like if this was an enchantment, a 5-mana enchantment, and it just had that +1 filter, I wouldn't be impressed by this at all.
Yeah, I just feel like because it's a planeswalker, it's going to draw hate. It's got 6 loyalty, so it's hard to kill, which means you're going to keep getting that filtering, and it's going to save you some life and buy you time to keep building. So I'm feeling like big green-red decks that are going to want this, just because you just keep drawing gas.
Okay. I was thinking maybe the blue-red decks want it more, but...
Possibly. I don't really... The blue-red decks get more use out of that first ability.
And the third one, if you eventually get there.
Yeah, I'm just like, in limited, I'm just pitching my junk and drawing new cards.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's Grandma Jaya Ballad. We now move on to Hot Grandma, which is Jaya's Immolating Inferno. She is on fire. X red legendary sorcery. Jaya's Immolating Inferno deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. So this is a huge fireball.
So this card's really, really good when you get to cast it.
When you get to cast it, yes. That legendary sorcery thing is making it difficult.
But having said that, this is one that I will want to cast. Like the green one I wasn't thrilled with. This one I will always put in my deck, given that I've got enough legendary creatures.
Yeah, works beautifully with Jaya, obviously. Jaya comes down, makes 3 extra red on the following turn, and you just go for 6 or something like that on 3 targets.
Yeah, that's sick. And that's including players, so that's pretty cool. And this will be good in 2HG as well.
Yeah, because you can target both players and deal double damage, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a nice card, but you are going to have to be able to cast it. So really look at your deck and say, do I have the legends in order to support this?
Yeah, that's right. All right, Keldon Overseer. 2 and a red for a 3/1 human warrior with kicker of 3 and a red, and it has haste. And when Keldon Overseer enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. I really like this card.
I don't know if I would say I really like this card. I like Threaten normally, and this seems super expensive.
Yeah, but you get a 3/1 as well.
Yeah, it's pretty game ending. This is going to be, you steal their best blocker, and you get an extra 3/1, and you get to attack with their best blocker. Yeah, it's
But
good.
the 3/1 haste for 3 isn't that bad.
No, it's just going to get blocked.
Yeah, it depends on how many Saprolings they've got, I guess. The artwork looks like Shinnok from the Mortal Kombat series.
Fair enough. Well, I'm pretty split on this. I think it's a fine red common, and I will play it in my red decks, but I'm not super excited about it. I'll pick it late.
I see what you did there. You're split on the kicker card. Well done.
So not intentional, but I'll take it. Alright, well, let's keep moving on from here. We've got a Keldon Raider. The Keldon, I believe, are also Rada's race, just for the connections here. This is a 4-mana 4/3, pretty common sort of thing, and you may rummage when it enters the battlefield. That is, discard a card, and if you do, draw a card.
That's decent.
Which is fine, yeah. Decent stats, 4-mana 4/3 is fine, and being able to just dig through your deck a bit more is nice. Not as good as looting, but still perfectly good.
Yeah, you'd play this every time.
Good comment.
Keldon Warcaller. 1 and a red for a 2/2 human warrior, and when it attacks, put a lore counter on target saga you control. Geez, that's interesting.
Yeah. This is not a card. I sort of had to take a moment there because this is one of those cards that Wizards hadn't posted originally, so I hadn't read it before. Yeah, Bear with Upside, good, and Sagas. Yes, Saga synergy. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to do the volcanic one because then this is going to die like the next turn. It could die when you attack.
It could.
Because you don't get to choose. You could maybe just not be able to attack with this. No, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you would need it to be in a different color paired with Sagas because there are some really good Sagas in other colors, but I don't like the red Sagas. So
yeah.
Otherwise, just a bear, which is fine.
Yeah, fine.
Well, sorry, it used to be fine. I haven't seen any non-upside bears yet, so maybe bears aren't good anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
We have an Orcish Vandal. This is 2 mana for a 1/1, and you may sacrifice an artifact. So tap, sacrifice an artifact, and deal 2 damage to a target.
I love the design of this card. It's just really cool.
Yeah, nice.
He's just throwing artifacts at people to deal damage. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little Bosch, which is cool, and this is going to be a finisher, I think. This is, again, in that red-white equipment deck, or something like that that's going on. You hit them for a while, they build up blockers, then you're like, okay, I'm just going to throw stuff at you until you die.
Yeah. I don't know how good it's going to be. I think it might just be like one of the last cards you put into that deck, just for a bit of reach. But it's a cool card, even if it's not the best.
Sure. And I mean, then you can pick up as many of those modular sparring guys as possible as well. And just stuff your deck full of that 1 mana 1/1 that adds counters elsewhere until he's big enough to attack himself.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
There's some neat tricks you can do with this guy.
All right, Radiating Lightning. 3 and a red for an instant. Deals 3 damage to target player and 1 damage to each creature that player controls. Ugh. This reminds me of, there was is it Chandra's Fury? I think it cost 1 more mana. And it did 4 to the face and 1 to the creatures. So this is worse than that. Yeah.
This is sapling hate. Put it in your sideboard if you come up against a sapling deck or a lot of X1s, but unless you have seen your opponent play a bunch of 1 toughness creatures, then just leave it in the sideboard.
Yeah.
4 mana for 3 to the face is not good enough.
Nope.
We have a Rampaging Cyclops. This is 4 mana 4/4. He gets -2/-0 as long as 2 or more creatures are blocking it, which makes it kind of bad. So,
yeah, it makes it pretty bad.
It makes sense because you can't pay attention to more than one thing at a time. But he's a Cyclops, only got 1 eye.
Yeah, I get it, but why can't they just focus all the attention on one? Maybe it can only deal damage to 1 creature. Maybe that'd be better.
I don't know. It's a 4 mana 4/4 that has a downside for some reason.
Oh, well, 4 mana 4/4. Yeah, okay, fair enough. For red, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Uh,
Yeah, no,
I don't
red
like it.
filler. Yeah, play it if you need more dudes at 4.
Yeah. Run amok. Cool card name. 1 and a red for an instant. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. So this is going to finish a few games.
Yep. Put this right alongside your juggernauts.
Yeah.
Just because smashing is good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice, good combat trick to be included in your red decks.
Yep.
We now have Seismic Shift. This is a pretty bad card. 4 mana sorcery. Destroy target land. Yeah. And up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn. So it's fine. It'll do the job. I don't mind a bit of a Seismic Tremor, Seismic Stomp, that sort of thing. But this is probably not doing enough for 4 mana.
Yeah, you'd want to just have a complete falter effect attached to it. So yeah, I'm not huge on this.
Yeah, but again, if you need something to push through in your really aggressive red decks, and you have a very aggressive low curve deck, this might get in there to help you push through.
Yeah, it could happen. Yeah.
It's very frustrating when the green deck is like stabilizing, got a couple of big creatures, for you to then just go, you lose that land, so you can't keep stabilizing, and I'm getting through anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
It's okay.
There are moments, yeah. Shivan Fire. Red mana for an instant, and it's got a kicker of 4. Shivan Fire deals 2 damage to target creature. If the spell was kicked, it deals 4 damage to that creature instead. This reminds me of something. Is it like Burst Lightning or something?
Exactly, that's what I was trying to think of. Burst Lightning. But Burst Lightning was a shock and then 4 to anything, whereas this is just creatures.
Oh, okay.
That's so slightly worse, but still fine in limited. Get your 2 mana removal spell. Sorry, 2 damage removal spell. It's good.
Yep. Pick it, play it.
So we'll keep rolling from Shivan Fire to Siege Gang Commander has been reprinted.
I love this card.
So ready, fire. 3 red for a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, create 3 red goblin creature tokens. So it's a 5 mana, 5 power and toughness, which is good enough. It also has the ability to sacrifice any goblin, and it deals 2 damage to any target. So you just shock something for 2 and sacrifice a goblin. Yeah, this is one of the big things that will make standard goblins a deck if that gets going. Just because you can curve into it from Goblin Warchief.
Okay. Yeah, because this has been legal in standard before and it never got anywhere close. It must be the cost reduction that really pushes it. I love this card in limited. You're not going to get too much better than this. You never pass it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you untap with this and you can deal 6 damage immediately because you play your 6th land and you can just sack the 3 goblins. It helps you on attacks, it helps you on blocks. It's just, yeah, great card.
Excellent. Skirk Prospector. 1 red mana for a 1/1 goblin and sack a goblin, add a red. I believe this was on an enchantment, wasn't it, at one point?
This is a reprint. Skirk Prospector has been printed itself before. It's been a little while. It's probably like Tempest or thereabouts. So it's an old card. But yeah, Skirk Prospector is just a fairly boring card. You can use it as a little ritual, but yeah, don't see a lot of need for that in limited.
No,
it's a
can't
goblin,
even make
so
it cheaper.
Goblin standard might be just because you need more goblins, but
yeah, maybe.
Next we have Skizzix. So this is kind of the return of a ball lightning effect. This is 4 mana for a 5/3 trample haste. And you can get in and smack with them straight ahead and sacrifice at the end of the turn. Or you can pay a red to get so that's 5 mana total to keep it around. So 3 red.
I like that.
3 red, you get to keep it. Just for 4 mana, you get to attack once.
I kind of like that. Yeah, I think this is okay.
Yeah, again, in your aggressive red decks, or even like your red-green kicker deck, this is really easy kicker cost to get. So you get those triggers.
Yeah, it's only 5 mana, yeah.
Yeah, 5 mana, 5/3 trample haste is not the best, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, is that Bolas's symbol there on the back of it?
Yeah, I would say
his
that
haunts?
probably is. Yeah, yeah.
There's something going on
It's a
there.
good spot. Yeah, seems very good. I've heard of Skizix before. I can't remember what it was about, but I know that's a callback. Unfortunately, my history is failing me at this point. But I've definitely heard the name Skizix before.
Fair enough. I don't know either. Squee! The Immortal. 1 red red for a 2/1 goblin. You may cast Squee the Immortal from your graveyard or from exile. You got to be pretty smart to live long as me, but not being able to die helps.
It sure does. Yes, so Squee the Immortal. I feel like, and I'm going to, again, my history's maybe not the best here, but I understand that I think Squee was made immortal so that he could be tortured to death again and again and again.
Oh, really?
Then he was released and joined the Gerard Capuchin and then the crew of the Weatherlight after that. They sort of saved him. That's my understanding of how that happened. And now he's immortal.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. His last iteration, he kept coming back from the graveyard, and he is now doing it again from graveyard or from exile. So,
This is a really powerful card.
yeah, certainly. Infinite chump blockers. I mean,
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's that, but you can always just keep attacking. You can be really not really care about what happens to Squee. You can chuck all sorts of stuff on him. You're always going to have a creature to put your equip. Yeah, this is a really, really powerful card.
I almost lost you there, but you're back. It's okay.
I was going on and on about equipment and stuff. This card's really good.
Yes, yeah, looks
Pick
pretty
it, play
good.
it.
So you definitely played in your red decks. I don't necessarily think this has to be a first pick. It's an annoying card, but if there's other good uncommons, probably take them. And we've seen some good uncommons.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's where
Yeah.
I would put it. And we have a two-headed giant. So coin flips are back. 4 mana 4/4. Whenever it attacks, you flip 2 coins. If they're both heads, double strike. Sweet. If they're both tails, it gets menace. That's pretty good. If one's heads, one's tails, meh. So half the time you get nothing. Quarter of the time you get double strike. A quarter of the time you get menace.
Yeah, good card.
Now we need to bring more coins to limited.
Yay!
Yeah, they'd gone away from coins and rolling and randomness, but I think this is probably fine.
Yeah, I think this is fine as well. It's hard to coin flips. It's hard to know how good this card will be because it's so random. But the base stats are pretty good, so you can't be too upset with it.
Yeah, I mean, we said before about the Cyclops that a 4 mana 4/4 is good enough, and that was a downsided one. This one has random upside, so not knowing which it's going to be is kind of awkward. You've got your opponent, they've got one creature, and you're just like, I think I can get past it with menace or double strike, but if I get neither, I'm screwed. And you don't know until you attack.
Yeah. But this, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, you don't know.
It's just going to be an interesting.
I'm gonna hate playing with this card, and I'm gonna hate playing against it too because I know I'm gonna get screwed.
It's going to make some memorable moments, though. There's going to be the times where you flip the coin and it comes up just right and you win.
Yeah. And a format is now a card name.
So, the next is Valduk, the Keeper of Flame. This is a legendary uncommon human shaman for 3 mana. He's a 3/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment you put on him, he gets a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. So
That's good.
This is pretty good. I've forgotten the name of the damn cat. I don't think it's Miri, but there's a cat that has a similar effect. It makes cats at the start of each turn.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Can't remember its name though.
Yeah.
Caldor?
So yeah, this is where you put your auras, you put your equipment, and you get more value.
Yeah. For each. Wow.
Yeah, so he doesn't even
That
have to
can be
attack.
huge.
He just
Yeah, that's huge.
untap, strap some equipment onto this guy, and go to town.
Yeah, I like it. Build around, really cool build around.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool build arounds in this set.
I mean,
And this one's
just by itself, 3 mana 3/2 is acceptable stats. Like, you just can play this even if you don't have equipment and auras.
Yeah, but you're so incentivized to do it.
And you get so much better when you do. And we've seen some good ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Try to get as many of those little short swords as you can. The 1-mana, 1-1.
Yeah, the 1-mana 1/1. Yeah.
Equip for 1. Alright, so tell me about the dragon of the set.
Oh, I haven't seen this one yet. Verix Bladewing. 2 red red for a 4/4 legendary creature dragon. Actually, I have seen this one. Kick a 3, and it's got flying, of course. And when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create Karox Bladewing, a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. That was templated differently to normal, wasn't it?
A little
Create
bit.
Karox Bladewing. Yeah. Usually they go create a dragon named
Karox
Blade.
yeah.
But anyway, so this is a 7-mana 2/4 for 2 4/4s, which you can pay it on the cheap for just 1/4 for 4 mana. This card is nutty good,
Yeah.
real good.
This is great. I mean, 2 dragons, a dragon team for 7 mana is going to be very good. 8 power, 8 toughness, all flying. We can ramp into it, which in the green decks we've seen, so...
Yeah, and Broodmate Dragon, which was the Jund version from the Lara block when I started, that was just a house in Standard. And this is only in 1 color now, so this could be a really good card. Don't think of it as an aggressive card, just because it's red.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still cheap enough to be aggressive is probably the better part, because it has kicker. This could be the kind of card that gets into Standard as well in the mono-red decks as the finisher. As Glorybringer starts to rotate out, they're going to need those top-end finishers. This comes down on turn 4 is fine, and if you flood out and get to 7, you get double. So.
Yeah, it goes really well with the Phoenix, I think.
Yeah.
Just being able to have more threats in the air.
Yeah, very much like this card. I think if it's not worth anything now, and I haven't checked the prices, it should be worth something at rotation.
Yeah.
And we have a Warcry Phoenix. So we had the Dragon of the set, here's the Phoenix of the set. 4 mana 2/2 flying haste. And whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you can pay 3 mana to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking.
Cool, Battlecry. No, it's not Battlecry. Battalion. Yeah, this is pretty cool too. It costs 4 on the front side, which is a bit expensive for a 2/2 flying haste, but I think this is alright.
Yeah, that seems fine. In your aggressive deck, you can just keep getting in. Fine card. Keep playing.
Alright, Warlord's Fury. 1 red mana for a sorcery. Creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn. Draw a card. How badly do you want to cantrip? I don't really like this.
It's really strange to put first strike on a sorcery. That's the hardest part.
See it coming.
Yeah. So they know exactly what they're in for. It makes blocking harder still, but they know how to block. You're not going to catch anyone out. So.
Yeah.
I know, again, if you have this super aggressive red deck, which I've said multiple, I feel like I've said that a lot, so it seems like maybe there's enough pieces to put together for this very aggressive red deck. This might work, because you're making it hard for the opponent to block, and that's all you need to do in aggressive red decks.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Okay.
Lightning Bolt. When you have a wizard. It's Wizard's Lightning. 2 in a red for an instant. It costs 2 less if you control a wizard, and it deals 3 damage to any target. So it is literally red, deal 3 damage when you have a wizard.
They should have named it Wizard's Lightning Bolt. Why wouldn't
words? Maybe they couldn't fit it. The bolt would get too close to the rest of the mana cost.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is a good spell. You're always going to play it. 3 mana is a lot, though.
Not these days.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the best red removal spell.
I just keep trying to compare it to Lightning Bolt, or even Lightning Strike is significantly better than this, I think, most of the time.
So you've got this and Fight with Fire, 2 uncommon, 3 mana. This one deals 3 damage, the other deals 5 to a creature. So early in the game, you're just dealing a creature anyway. Later in the game, the Fight with Fire is probably better because of the kicker ability.
That one's a sorcery, though, right?
I'm going to say yes, probably.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, you're always taking this. You're right. You're always taking this. And
Great card, and it's splashable, and it's just keeps going. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
yeah.
And when you have wizards, it's just great. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah. In that blue-red deck, it's going to be excellent.
alright, now I think that is the last of our red cards here with Wizards Lightning. So thank you again for joining us for the red cards of Dominaria. Hopefully you'll join us shortly to talk about my very favourites, the black cards.
Yep. See you then, guys.